Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting of Monday, November 20th at 4:30. A few announcements. We'll start out with Crystal. You've got to start.
I do. Just want to congratulate the senior girls volleyball team who won zones this weekend and are headed to Whitecourt. So that's for the DVSS senior girls. So congratulations to that team and good luck this weekend in Whitecourt.
Wonderful. And Patrick.
And just the athletes in our community are doing really well. The senior Titans won the South Championship over Tabor on the weekend and are heading to Red Deer Friday night to play St. Paul in the Tier 4 uh, Alberta Bowl Championship. So good luck to them.
Wonderful. Tom.
Christmas season is upon us, even though it doesn't look like it outside. But Christmas season in Drumheller always starts off with a couple of festivals. So we have the Festival of Trees at the BCF this Friday, 5 to 7. Come and see all the incredibly well decorated trees. And then we have the Festival of Lights, of course, downtown Drumheller, starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday. This is an opportunity to shop downtown, and there have all sorts of games and events and fire pits. And I saw the public works crews out there today working very hard, setting up trees and all sorts of stuff. So it's quite a festival. Come downtown this Saturday.
Thank you. And just want to send a shout out to Kelsey for being our acting director of infrastructure for the last couple months. And now we welcome Kevin Blanchett as our acting director. So welcome, Kevin. Welcome to the table. Okay, do I have any additions to the agenda? No, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda of November 20th, please, Lisa?
I move that council adopt the agenda for the November 20th, 2023 regular council meeting as presented.
Seconder, Stephanie, all in favor? Carried. I gotta get a motion for the meeting of November 6th regular council meeting. Stephanie,
I move that council approve the minutes for the November 6th, 2023 regular council meeting as presented.
seconder, Lisa, comments? All in favor? Carried. Now we shall move on to 7.1.1, please, Daryl.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the report you have in front of you is a request for tax relief for destructive improvements. So this was a house fire on August 26th that basically rendered the house unlivable or uninhabitable for a number of months. And the property owners have requested through letter to, if it's possible, to waive the portion of the property taxes that were destroyed as part of the fire. So in this case, this is a single family dwelling with a detached garage. So the improvements that were destroyed was simply the house. And so what recommendation that administration is presenting is to waive the fees from September 1st to December 31st for the house only. The garage and property continues on as it was before. And then with the assessment being effective at the end of the year for next year's taxes until the house is actually rebuilt and occupied, which sounds to be like around September, October of next year, that they would not be paying property taxes on the destructive improvements as for that portion of next year. So the recommendation is to have the taxes, municipal portion only of the taxes waived for the period that the house was unlivable, which was September 1st to December 31st, 2023.
I get a motion, please? Tony?
I move that council waive the municipal portion of the property taxes for the destructive improvements at 1100 2nd Avenue West for the period September 1, 2023 to December 31, 2023 in accordance with council policy C-02-19.
Seconder, Patrick? Comments? Tom?
Yeah, I was just wondering, the garage, there is considerable damage on the garage. and it is blocked off, so it's not going to be usable at all. So why would we still have tax on that? Just,
No, it's a good question. So I was told it was just the house that was destroyed, not the garage. So if it's the garage as well that's unusable, then it can certainly be amended. Yeah, we can certainly, it doesn't need to change the motion, but we can certainly work with removing the garage portion as well, so.
Crystal?
Will they have to send another letter next year, or it will just continue until they're
So the
How
way
long?
the tax assessment works is when the assessor goes through and does it, and, so that the assessor knows that there's a house fire. And so for 2023, at the end of the year, it's whatever exists. So the fact that a house and perhaps garage doesn't exist or livable on the property, then those won't be included with improvements for 2024's tax bill. So they would, and then when they rebuild, and they would do it through a permitting process, that then they would get a supplementary assessment once everything's completed. So again, once they're back in the house, I believe the homeowner said October of next year, roughly. So they would get something for probably the last couple of months of 2024.
Stephanie?
Sorry, just, I'm noticing a difference in the agenda and then the request for decision. It says council policy C-02-19 in the agenda. At the bottom of the request for decision, it's council policy C-01-19. Just to make sure we have it right at the thing.
Yeah, actually, the motion was read as correct of CO219. It was a typo in here, so. Yep, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you.
And I will confirm, Councillor Zarisky about the garage being destroyed, so.
Okay, 7.2, please, Dagan.
So I actually have 5 requests for decision in front of council this evening, and they all relate to the expropriation of properties in Lehigh as part of the Flood Office's floodway buyout program. So just as a reminder on all 5 of these requests for decision, in the community of Lehigh, there's a 5 to 10% chance of the Red Deer River spilling its banks and beginning to flood the community every year. During our design flood event, the flood depth is between 1.1 and 1.7 meters deep. So based on the flood depth and the flow velocity through the community, the area is classified as floodway, which is the portion of the flood hazard area where the flows are deepest, fastest, and most destructive. And under the town's land use bylaw and as recommended by the province, development's not permitted in floodway areas. So the town of Drumheller and residents of Lehigh were first informed in 2016 that the province would not fund a berm, and buyouts were the only option based on the cost of a berm compared to the value of properties protected. This was first communicated to Lehigh residents in a letter from the town in May 2016, and the town was awarded funding for a buyout program in 2019. Because the floodway buyout of an entire community is significant, the Flood Office looked at doing another study to look at alternates, and that was started in summer 2021 and finalized in January 2022. And that study did find as well that a berm would cost more than the assets it protects, but it also wouldn't be effective because of the permeable gravel soils on which Lehigh was built. So Lehigh residents were informed in January 2022 of the study results, and the full buyout negotiations began in the community after that information session. So far, we have been able to purchase 12 properties at fair market value, and the remaining 5 landowners have refused our offers at fair market value, so they were notified in summer of 2023 that expropriation would proceed to protect them from future flooding. So the resolution and notice of intention to expropriate was passed by council on August 14th. And this has since been registered with land titles, and the landowners have been informed of the town's intent to expropriate. So the requests for decisions today on these 5 properties are the next step in the expropriation process, allowing council the opportunity to decide whether or not to proceed with expropriation. So the first one we have before council is for 222 4th Street West in Lehigh. And again, we are recommending that due to the significant flood risk to this property, that council approve the certificate of approval and resolution. And then once that's done, that would be registered with land titles, and then the landowner would be notified of the intent to notice, they would be served with the notice of expropriation. The funding for this would be covered for the fair market value by Alberta Environment and Protected Areas, and any damages awarded to the landowner during the expropriation process would be reviewed on a case-by-case basis for funding by the government of Alberta.
Thank you, Dagan. Can I get a motion, please? Patrick?
I move the council approve the certificate of approval and resolution for expropriation pertaining to the parcel of land described as lots 6 to 8 inclusive, block 5, plan 8168 FS, title number 961099949.
Thank you. Seconder? Lisa, comments? Okay, so this is just quick one on this one because I think we've been over this a lot. Just clarify the dates that this will be required to be removed off the property.
It will depend somewhat on the registration with land titles, but ideally we will be able to take possession of the property before the coming flood season so that these people are out of harm's way and risk for the coming spring.
All right, thanks, Dagan. Anybody else? Okay, all in favor? Carried. 7.2.2, please, Dagan.
The second request for decision is also in Lehigh. It's 224 2nd Avenue West. And again, the resolution approving the first step in expropriation was passed by council on August 14th. This landowner was notified in October of the notice of intention to expropriate, and we have not received any objection on this one. So administration is recommending that council approve this certificate of approval for 224 2nd Avenue West.
Motion, please, Tony.
I move that council approve the certificate of approval and resolution for expropriation pertaining to the parcel of land described as Lot 2, Block 2, Plan 8810626, title number 201181865.
Seconder, Lisa, comments? Same applies across the board on all these. Okay. All in favor? Carried. Next one, Dagan.
The third request for decision relates to 228 4th Street West in Lehigh. So again, council approved the resolution for expropriation August 14th. This landowner has been notified of the town's intent to expropriate, and we did not receive any objection in relation to this. So administration is recommending that council approve the certificate of approval and resolution for 228 4th Street West in Lehigh as presented.
Motion, please. Crystal?
I move that council approve the certificate of approval and resolution for expropriation pertaining to the parcel of land described as lots 9 to 11 inclusive, block 5, plan 8168 FS, title number 921181898.
Seconder, Tony? Comments? All in favor? Carry. 7.2.4, please, Dagan.
The fourth request for decision relates to the property at 244 3rd Street West in Lehigh. Again, this was originally passed by council on August 14th to begin the expropriation process. That has been served, notice of the intent to expropriate has been served on the registered property owner, and we did not receive an objection on this property. And so we're recommending that council approve their certificate of approval and resolution pertaining to 244 3rd Street West as presented.
Motion, please, council. Tom?
I move that council approve the certificate of approval and resolution for expropriation pertaining to the parcel of land described as Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 8810626, title number 141206331.
Seconder, Lisa, comments? All in favor? Carried. And final one, 7.2.5, please, Dagan.
So the fifth request for decision relates to the property located at 245 3rd Street West in Lehigh. The resolution approving expropriation was passed by council on August 14th, 2023. The registered property owner was notified of the intention to expropriate, and the town did not receive any objection to the process. And so administration recommends that council approve the certificate of approval and resolution pertaining to 245 3rd Street West as presented.
Motion, please, council. Lisa?
I move that council approve the certificate of approval and resolution for expropriation pertaining to the parcels of land described as lots 12 and 13, Block 5, Plan 8168FS, titled number 921, 125, 157, and lots 14 to 17 inclusive, Block 5, Plan 8168FS, titled number 921, 125, 157, plus 1.8810626, title number 141206331.
Seconder? Patrick? Comments? All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Dagan. All right, Reg, 7.3.1, please.
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. Before you is a request for decision with respect to the non-residential development incentive program. Property is 382 Center Street. The bylaw was passed in 2020. We received an application for the incentive on October 31st of this year. The building was vacant for more than 6 months. Prahan Physiotherapy Inc. Occupied it October 1st, 2021, and then it was open to the public December 7th, 2021. They have roughly one employee, about 20 hours a week, and then also for about a year they had a contract employee 1 to 2 days a week. As per the bylaw, we apply a 50% tax credit prorated, but as a result, this business was a result of a subdivision. So the first year that they qualified, there was no taxation, which you can see in the table on the request for decision. And then the abatement that we would apply for the second year is 25% of the municipal portion. So the total abatement that we're suggesting is $531.87. The estimated cost is the same number, and this aligns well with our downtown area revitalization plan because it helps fill up buildings in the downtown. And then the motion appropriate with the request for decision is detailed at the end.
Thanks, Reg. Motion, please. Stephanie?
I move that council approve the abatement of the $531.87 in municipal taxes for roll 1030816 in accordance with the non-residential development incentive program bylaw 19.19.
Seconder? Patrick? Comments? Crystal?
I just have a very quick question. So, any commercial, is it commercial specifically, building that is empty for how long? 6 months minimum? Then, if a business opens up, then they can apply for this tax abatement.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify because I was a little bit confused. I actually didn't know there was this bylaw, so now I'm learning something new today. So,
Lisa?
Can you clarify for me vacant? Is it vacant as there's nobody in there and no renovations happening, or renovations are allowed, so they're using the space, just not open to the public?
we count it as occupied, and so we usually use triggers within the development permit process to count that if it's in question. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Tom?
Yeah, I was just wondering how businesses would know about this. Is it like if they come up with a building permit or apply for a building permit, is this something that they would automatically get some information on, or how would they discover this incentive?
Yeah, we proactively try and talk to businesses as they're opening up in town, and then it's on our website as well. And then we try and engage them through the development permit process. So.
Anybody else? Well, it's great to see that this incentive that we have put through last term and stuff is getting used. So keep promoting it, and it's great to see new businesses. All right, all in favor? Carried. Okay, now we have to go into, we have a public hearing at 5:30, but since we are way ahead of schedule, I'm going to ask for a motion to go in camera, do a couple of things that we have to deal with on the land development planning. And then we'll come back at 5:30 and do the public hearing. So can I get a motion to go in camera, please, Stephanie?
I move that council close the meeting to the public to discuss land development and planning as per FOIP 27, privileged information, and FOIP 24, advice from officials.
Seconder, Tony, all in favor? Carried. Okay, so we will be back at 5:30. Thank you, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Can I get a motion to come out of closed session, please? Stephanie,
I move to come out of closed session.
seconder, please. Tony, all in favor? Carried. All right, welcome back, and we will now do our public hearing, bylaw 10.23. I open the public hearing at 5:33 p.m. The public hearing is for bylaw 10.23 Grove Plaza removal of municipal reserve. I'm going to ask Daryl, our CAO, to explain this proposed bylaw.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is the uh, sort of a fallout of the berm work in North Drumheller on the what we call the travel lodge side. So there were a number of property boundary inconsistencies when the berm was completed with the adjacent landowners, and so there was assumptions made about where land was where property boundaries were located, and as a result of the work that we've done with the expansion of the berm, we're now in a way where we're trying to correct some of these things. So one of the issues has been that some of the parcel was designated a municipal reserve, and so we are, in order to actually be able to change this land and make these corrections, we need to remove the municipal reserve status. By our council needs to do it in order for us to proceed with changing the boundaries with land titles. So really what we're looking for here is the ability for us to make these changes through council to remove this reserve from this section to then be able to make the changes to land with land and property. So,
thank you, Daryl. Rules of conduct for public participation. 1, all material associated with the public hearing will take and be in consideration and kept as record for the hearing. We request that you only present materials associated with the proposed bylaw. We ask you to respect everyone's views. Council may ask presenters questions once the presentation is completed. So, Denise, do we have anyone who is registered remotely?
No, we do not.
Do we have any presenters to speak this evening?
No.
Do we have any written submissions?
We do not. We had one question that came through that the CAO was able to answer, and so we do not have any other written submissions or other questions.
All right, I guess then we have no comments to make, so I would like to declare the public hearing for, sorry, council, any questions? Sorry.
I have a generic one. So, what's the difference between a municipal and an environmental reserve, and how is it we can change the bylaw on the municipal portion but can't on the environmental?
oh, very good question, Councillor. So an environmental reserve is defined by the MGA, and I'm going to get some of it, sort of a water course, a coulee, anything that has an environmental consideration to it that you do not want altered. And so it is considered to be something, that's why you can only shrink an environmental reserve. You cannot eliminate an environmental reserve. A municipal reserve, on the other hand, is routinely used for, especially in large-scale developments where a portion of the land is dedicated to the municipality for the construction of a school, other public, a fire hall, other public facilities like that. And so they are to use at the municipality's discretion, and it can often be, if after many decades, if, for instance, if you had a nice square parcel of land, you could remove the designation and sell that land if you were to, or have it developed into something else. So the difference between a municipal reserve is that it's for the municipal's discretion versus environmental. It can never be altered once it's been created. Is that helpful?
Any other comments, council? Okay, I would declare the public hearing of proposed bylaw or business license bylaw 10.23 closed at 5:37 p.m. All right, thank you, everyone. Now we have something to deal with that came out of closed session. Daryl, do you want to give us an update on that?
Yes, in 1 second here. Just trying to get. There we go. So we have a request for decision to approve a 20-year land lease for parcel in North Drumheller, where the parcel has it's owned by an estate, and the estate wishes to pay all of the land lease money up front as a lump sum contribution to compensate for future property taxes for this. And the intention is that this land would be leased by the town for parkland, whether it's a community garden or a passive garden space, much like Munchie Park is downtown.
Council, can I get a motion, please, Stephanie?
I move that council approve the lease agreement for lot 28, 29, 30, block 2, plan 4317 QC, 83 Bridge Street, including the lump sum contribution provided by the estate for future property taxes.
Seconder, please. Lisa, comments? Tony?
So just to clarify, then the 20-year lease would be the executed with the heirs of the estate and not the estate directly?
So it's, as of today, would be the estate, but the estate, I believe, is transferring. They're trying to close off the estate and dissolve it, so it would ultimately be with the heirs of the estate. So, yes.
Lisa?
I just want to say that I think if we can develop that area for gardens or whatnot, it'll be a much needed beautification of that side of town. I know I've heard from business owners in the past that they feel that that north part of Drumheller gets ignored. So I think that moving forward on this is a bonus for all of them, and to keep up that beautification, it's a good idea.
Anybody else? Tom?
Yeah, just to be clear, this is a brownfield, and so that definitely limits our ability to develop into different types of things, right?
Absolutely, Councillor. And the lease agreement is struck actually at our request so that it is only used for passive space and not developed into something. For those who don't know the history of that area, this is at the corner of the highway or Bridge Street and near Grove. And it was an old service station at one point, and there is some fairly significant contamination that extends under the highway, hydrocarbon contamination. So no one wants to open up that land to develop it into a structure in the future. So,
Anybody else? Yeah, and I think this is an opportunity. Something like Valley Growers took over that spot over in Bankview. That they developed that community garden. We've had volunteers take over Munchie Park and create a beautiful park. So if there's anybody out there listening that has some ideas that you think would really help beautify that area, that would be an asset to the whole community, please let one of us at administration or council know, because we're open to suggestions. We're just glad that we're able to get another area that was contaminated, at least an old building not standing there. So, all right, council, if there's nothing else, all in favor? Carried. Thank you, Daryl. Okay, so we have to go back into in camera regarding some strategic development and planning. So, council, can I get a motion, please, Crystal?
I move that council close the meeting to the public to discuss strategic development and planning as per FOIP 23, local public body confidences, FOIP 24, advice from officials, and FOIP 25, disclosure harmful to economic and other interests of public body.
Seconder, Stephanie, all in favor? Carried. All right, thank you everyone for being with us today, and wishing you all a great week. Enjoy the weather out there. A few more days of nice weather, so take care of yourselves. Thank you.